You remember the first time Denji laughs after almost dying, right? Like he's already learned his life as a punchline? This whole realization really starts around the Bat Devil and the Eternity Devil arcs when public safety treats him less like a human and more like equipment. In canon, he's just grateful for toast and jam, for a warm bed, for anyone pretending he belongs anywhere. But here's the hidden thesis that changes everything about Chainsaw Man. Denji doesn't crave love, he craves proof he isn't replaceable. Watch how Makima smiles whenever he bleeds, not with cruelty, but with that calm certainty of someone checking a tool's durability. This is the part fans miss because the story frames it as mentorship, but it's really inventory management with a pretty face. When he's thrown into the hotel loop by the Eternity Devil, nobody negotiates for his safety, they negotiate for the mission. He overhears Aki and Himeno arguing in that hallway, and for the first time he realizes nobody is saying his name. In canon, he still dives back in with a grin, but imagine that grin cracking for half a second longer than the camera allows. That half second is the exact moment he understands that if he disappears, the job description stays exactly the same. Here's where it gets crazy because Denji doesn't rebel, he doubles down, like if he works harder he might become necessary. Against the Katana Man, he isn't fighting for justice or revenge, he's fighting to justify the resources spent on him. Listen to the way Makima thanks him after the train ambush, not for surviving, but for performing well under pressure. That word, performance, hits him harder than any devil because performers are applauded, then replaced when they're boring. Even Power treats him like a shield during chaos, screaming for him to go first because Chainsaw Man regenerates anyway. And he laughs it off because laughter is cheaper than asking why everyone else gets to be fragile. By the time he wakes up after the Gun Devil Fragments incident, stitched together like spare parts, something inside him is already numb. This isn't despair yet, it's disassociation. The survival trick of turning yourself into a prop so pain stops being personal. Watch his eyes during missions now, less wonder, more calculation, like he's measuring how much damage he can absorb today. That's the origin of Chainsaw Man's madness, not bloodlust, but the quiet understanding that his body is just company property.
Here's the divergence that never gets animated. The moment he stops asking what he wants and starts asking what keeps him useful. In the real story, he still dreams about touching chests and eating good food, but now those dreams feel like borrowed furniture. By the Bomb Girl arc, when Reese smiles at him in the school hallway, he doesn't feel chosen, he feels temporarily assigned. He tells himself this is romance, but his heart hears a familiar click, like a tool being checked out from storage. When Makima finally breaks him with that gentle voice, it isn't betrayal that hurts, it's confirmation of a pattern he's memorized. She never says you matter, she only ever says you're convenient, and that difference hollows him out completely. Now imagine the Control Devil reveal not as a shock, but as relief, because at least the rules are finally honest. Against Santa Claus and the Darkness Devil, he throws himself into hell not to save the world, but to stay irreplaceable. He doesn't ask whether he'll come back because inventory is always written off as acceptable loss. By the time he faces the real Chainsaw Man legend, the hero everyone worships, Denji isn't jealous, he's terrified of redundancy. In canon, he kills Makima with love and grief, but in this branch, it's an act of corporate restructuring. He deletes the manager so the product can finally belong to itself, even if he has no idea what that freedom feels like. Afterward, taking care of Nayuta isn't redemption, it's Denji testing whether he can choose to protect something fragile. This is the part that hurts the most because he's never learned how to value himself without an audience watching, so when he smiles at crowds cheering Chainsaw Man, listen closely, it isn't pride, it's a performance review. Would you still root for him knowing every scream is just another receipt proving he's worth keeping around? Tell me where you think Denji realized this first, the hotel hallway, the train ambush, or Makima's apartment. And if you want more Chainsaw Man breakdowns like this, stay close because this story isn't about monsters, it's about disposability.